Hi, I'm Andre Faust. Well, we know that I had a disaster there during the flood where I lost my Hudson. She went down into Davy Jones' locker. Yep, she went into the water, into the big drink, and remained there for about a week, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, somewhere around that. But I have to once again thanks Kevin Atwin for retrieving it. However, after close study of the components and the electronics and the battery, I don't think that bird's going to fly again. I think the electronics are good, but just the propellers and the LiPo battery, the cost goes quite up. But anyway, that particular Hudson H109S, I basically use it as a trainer to get my skills down, to go up a notch on the with the drones. And anyway, I went from that to the Spark. And anyway, one of the things that I had to criticize DJI is that they do geofencing, but you don't have a choice over. Well, I guess there is a way. I found that accidentally on how to remove the geofencing, but it's kind of a pain in the hiney to have to go in and take care of that kind of business. So anyway, for the next drone I was thinking a Mavic Pro, and of course because of that geofencing, I decided to find an alternative product, and one that I was already well familiar with and that I had researched out quite well, and that's the Autel line. And anyway, I come across the Autel Evo for Evolution. Now, it looks like a Mavic knockoff, but really it isn't. It's like a car. I mean, the only difference between one car and the other car is the skins of the car and how the internal controls are laid out. That's the only differences that you get in cars. I mean, they all follow the same mechanics, the same rules of physics. So it isn't an identical. It's not a knockoff. It's there's only so many ways that you can engineer something and make it look a certain way. That's just life. But anyway, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be unpacking this little puppy, and we're going to see what it's all about. So I'm going to reset my camera, and we'll see what she all looks like in the box. Okay, so we've got the little guy right in front of us on our desk, on our static-free mat. Really, it's not needed because I'm not working on any circuit boards, but old habits are hard to break off. So okay, I mean, that's the dimensions of the box. It looks pretty decent. So let's open this puppy up here. That's what we have in here. Okay, nice little carrying handle. Let's flip that over. Okay, so this is what she kind of looks like in the box. Again, very well laid out. I like this styrofoam that can be used for other applications with a drone, of course, but it doesn't have to stay in this box. So let's pull this puppy out first. No, I'll wait till the end. Always got to keep things in suspense. So this is the first box. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, get this little sucker out. Okay, this is the power pack, or power pack, power converter, whatever you want to call it. This, I gather, connects to the battery, and this port here goes to the AC connector. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, okay. Well, there's our AC connector. Of course, I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to figure this one out. So I'll just plug that in there now, get that out of the way. Okay, so the next box, what are we going to look into? This guy right here. So what mysteries lies in this box here? The controller. Once again, all set up. I like that again because that protects the gimbal, so I'll definitely be using that when carrying it around. So let's pull this guy out. Set the box over here. Pull off our styrofoam, and now let's get rid of this plastic. Plastic all over the place. So I guess when you take a look at this here, I mean, you know that an Android or iPhone can fit into that. It's movable. Of course, if you've got a tablet, this won't do, but there is a workaround that I'm quite sure. Okay, more plastic, get rid of that. Now, in ways, this does look like the DJI controller when you expand this out, but really, they're quite different. So, okay, what do we have here? We got our antennae in the back here. Let's not break anything. Now, the thing that I found, if something sticks, you don't force it. Okay, I see what the problem is. It's just freaking plastic. And of course, they don't make life easy. I may have to go get a friggin' knife. I can't hold up my fingernails. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to get a cutting implement. So, okay, so I don't know how well the camera can pick this up. So I'll use my electric scissors there. Yeah, the technical term, or in anthropology we would call it a cutting implement. Implement meaning tool. Okay, that's gone. So like the DJI, they look kind of like the same, but a little shorter. And that, of course, when you're using it, you keep it perpendicular to the ground. And like I say, this will fit in an Android or an iPhone. I like the feel of the DJI controller a little bit better than this here, but beggars can't be choosers. Controls are fairly accessible and easy. Pause, off and on, home, take off. I mean, I'm just recognizing it from the icons, right? Like I didn't read no manuals about this yet. Okay, I imagine that this controls the camera. This controls the camera's yaw because I'm using a 3 gimbal camera. Okay, so this works on, but must be on display. Back here we have our record mode, our camera mode. A and B, those are probably programmable buttons, which I'll find out once I get this thing set up. But right now, it isn't set up. Okay, so we've got a peek at that. So we'll pull out this next box. I know there's one more box in there. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, I know what we have here because I read before I ordered it. I knew what was coming with it. Okay, so let's first start out with les propellers, as we'd say in French. Actually, we'd say it. Okay. So I mean, it tells you, how to lock it, how to unlock it. It's probably color coded one way or the other. So I've got one. I think I should have more than this. Okay, so they give me 2 blades. Well, whoopee poop. So one's a and one's a B. I know that without even breaking the package open. Okay, we turf this. What's this here? Let's take a look. Okay, this is looks like a plug-in for I can't really tell on this USB port if that's for an Android or is it for an iPhone. It's one of the two. Actually, if I had my, but anyway, that's a USB connector. I imagine I imagine that's what I use to charge this puppy up with. Let me take a look at here. That's just something there. There's her symbol. Let's pull this guy over here. Come here. Darn it. I gotta stop chewing my fingernails. Okay. Let's prop this open. Jeez. That is in it. Okay. They've made this very, very difficult to get at. There we go. Okay, so we do have 2 ports, and well, I'll figure it out, but right now Let me see what this all does. Okay, so I suspect this is what gets connected to, well, I'll know. Right now I'm going to be jumping the gun if I make anything here. Well, let's look what the other cord is. That'll give me a clue. But this looks like a charging module. Like I say, I haven't read the instructions. I'm just pulling this out of the box. It's your first time seeing it, and it's the first time for me seeing it as well. And, as you can see, I've never, this package has never been broken open. Okay, so, all right, there's our connectors right here to either connect an Android or an iPhone to the controller. So, okay, we've got that out of the way. Put this over to one side, and let me see if I don't have anything left in there. Nope, that's it. Old Santa Claus's box. Okay, it comes with the gimbal protection. I like that. I like the feel of it. It has a nice weight. It feels sturdy. And of course, that's well, one thing I have to say, when they wrap things up, they wrap things up. Turn this bird around. Gotta be careful. Okay. See, I mean, this is so intuitive. Like, I didn't know which legs opened up first, but it's the top ones open up first, and the bottom ones open up second. Okay, there we go. I have access to it. Okay, this is brushless motor, of course. I don't know if this next comment is going to be politically correct or not. I'm just like trying to pull off a condom or something. I don't believe I said that. So, okay, so here's our bird. The gimbal to protect, or the gimbal protection. And this is, of course, there's no power onto it. Take off more of this plastic piece. We've got everything. So, again, like, I haven't looked at anything. So this is my first time going through this. So, again, it's very intuitive. I know this has to be the battery. There it is, yeah. Okay, so there. I heard it crack, so I know, again, intuitively, that tells me the battery is secure. What else can I say about this thing here? Okay. Well, we do have, like the Mavic Pro. Now, I'm not saying that this is better than the Mavic Pro, or it's worse than the Mavic Pro. It has a lot of features that the Mavic Pro has, and vice versa. It has features that the Mavic Pro doesn't have, and vice versa. So what I gather is that these here are for the forward obstacle. These cameras. This front looks like a grill. I'm not quite sure what that's for right now. I'll find out later as I learn more about this. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, on the bottom here, I don't know if these are cameras or they're infrared. One's a transmitter, one's a receiver. I don't know which of the two is which, but that's either to aid landing or to know where it's at, or to identify the ground. And we've got two more sensors here. Yeah, they're not X-rays. I had to take a look and do a double take on. They are some type of sensors, and again, I think that has to do to judge on how you're landing the craft. Okay, in the back. Now the dead giveaway. The dead giveaway is these two. These two. I mean, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but those are infrared sensors. And we have our. There you go. Comes right off completely. Okay, there's another USB port, and somewhere's there got to be a place for me to stick to stick a SD card in. And that's gonna be a mystery. I know there's an SD card that goes here somewhere. I bet it's right here. Yep, that's the SD card, and look at that. There's an SD card in there. But holy jeez. I mean, I hope you can see there's an SD card in there, but they don't make... Yeah, that's an SD. What do they give me for an SD? Okay, so let's try to get this in the field. Well, I guess that was a useless exercise, blurry, so I'll read it off to you. It's a 32. It's a 32 gig SD, number 10. Okay, so I never noticed which way. The thing is, like, if you have to force anything, you know you're doing something wrong. Okay, that's in place. Okay, there's a button to check the battery, and that's the button there to check the battery right here. And now, according to the specs, I've got 30 minutes of flight time with this puppy here. The next step that I have to do before I can put this out in the air is that I have to register it. And we'll take a break, and I'll be right back once I register it. Registration for drones are very easy. You go online, you go onto the Canada Transport site, and you find the portal, and you can use a debit or MasterCard and or Visa. I don't want to favor one over the other. And you pay $5 and you get your drone registered, and you're legitimate on that. And I recommend that you register your drones. Being as careful as a person tries to be, there's such a thing as a flyaway. And that, so we'll take a few seconds break there. Well, even more than a few seconds, but I'm not going to keep the camera rolling while I'm getting my registration done up. So I'm off to get the registration, and we'll proceed once I get back. Okay, I've completed my registration. I've written my, I've used my label maker, and I've got my registration. Now this drone is going to be totally legal, but it's I use a smaller font because they don't tell you what size you have to have your numbers. So of course I don't want some big grotesque label on the drone, so I went with a smaller font. So where will I place that won't get me into any trouble? Oh, I'll put this right up on top. No, I'll put it right on. No, that's the battery side. Right down on the side here. So it'll be a good place. I'll place that, like I say, right there on the side. Okay, well, the vents can't cover those up. I'm going to put my guard back on, because that's probably the most vulnerable part, is the drone now. No, I didn't pay attention how that was. Okay, so you got to flip it upside down. That's what happens when you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Are we heading in the right direction here? Yeah, there we go. It's a good thing this is not some type of psychology thing that I would really mess up. I mean, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn that around to make sure that I get things right. Okay, there, she's nice and secure, so the camera is protected. So okay, we're back with our numbers. So, like I said, all they ask for is they don't even say that you have to put a number on both sides. They just want the one registration number on the drone. So peel this number off. There we go. And I'm going to try to make it look neat at least. There. Canada Transport is going to be very happy. And this camera, I've got one thing I've got to say about the camera. Like I said, it's on a 3 gimbal, meaning that it'll stay level with the drone, twist to the side, goes up and down, and I can pivot the camera without having to pivot the drone. And that's where you get the 3 gimbal. But this camera is capable in several formats. You can, I think, do either movie or MP4 for the camera, for the video part of it. For the stills, what I do like about it is that it will save in RAW format. Now, unless if you're not a photographer, you probably won't really know what the advantages of a RAW file versus a JPEG file. A RAW file, when you photograph using RAW, it captures everything on the sensor, and it ends up being a large file because it has all this data. Whereas a JPEG, it does a lot of detail is missing, even though the eye won't notice it. But when you go in to do post-production work, there's things that you can pull out that with a JPEG you can't, because the data is just not there. One case that I had heard about a raw file was an incident that happened in the United States, and I don't know if it was a homicide but the FBI was investigating, and anyway, they had one shot, and it was a car in a parking garage, and the lights were very dark, and you could just see the corner of the license. And anyway, they photographed it, and it was photographed in RAW, and they brought it back to their photo lab, where they're digital people. And anyway, by setting up the gamma and the exposures and all those kind of nice little things, they were able to brighten up the picture. But the point is that when you looked at it with the naked eye, you could not see the rest of the license plate except for that corner. When it went into post-production, they were able to actually brighten it up, like if you put a spotlight on it, and they could read the plate number. And from that they were able to apprehend the fellow. And I don't know if it was in Texas, and he probably went and met Mr. Sparky. Now, talking about Sparky, got my little Spark here, cute little fella. And the size difference between the two of them. Put them right up top of each other. Now, this is a DJI Spark, and very, very it's great for doing indoor work because of the small size. Its camera resolution is 1080 1920, but that's I think 12 megapixels. This one here, I forget how many megapixels, but it has a larger sensor, and the Spark is not capable of doing RAW files, but it does really good videos. I've done several videos, but this one here is really what I would call a flying camera. I mean, this has the same things that my DSL camera has. I can pretty well do with this camera-wise is what I can with my DSL. So that pretty well wraps up this unboxing. The next video that I will be doing will be where I'll be actually doing the flight test of this here, and getting familiar with the new screen. Now, on screen, before I finish up, is that with this puppy here, you don't need to have the Android or the Apple smartphone or tablet or whatever. You can get first-person view directly off of the menu, off the screen here, off this LED screen, and of course I'm getting reflections. But if you want to do anything in the advance, then you need to use your an external device, Android or iPhone, and that's where you get really the full function of the software. And of course, you have to download the app from was it Google app for Android? For Apple, I don't know. Like I have reservations for Apple, and the simple reason is because they make everything proprietorship, and you know, I service computers, and Apple, of course, I haven't been authorized by Apple because they want big money to be authorized by them, and you know, I find working with you know, Androids and regular PCs a lot easier to deal with. So okay, till next time, take care, fly safe, keep them out of the water, and all those fine things. This is Andre. Till next time.